I want to talk for a moment about what it is that I see about why each of you are here, why you are drawn to an event like this, Emerging Women, and to bring into focus what it is for each of you that is alive inside of you, that you long, that you feel called to bring out in your life. Could be something that you need to say. It could be music, it could be dance, it could be the way you feel called to love or create your life, your lifestyle. But it is that thing that is burning inside of you that you feel that you cannot go out of this life without having done that, without having given that, without having loved this world and yourself in this way. There is something that can become like a roadblock for so many of us in the task of emerging with what that is deep inside of us, that is longing to be born. And I want to speak about that tonight. It is this thing that we call self-doubt. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about self-doubt. I want to talk about the nature of self-doubt, and I want to talk about the place that self-doubt naturally has in the creative process. Because when we can revolutionize our relationship with self-doubt, there is a freedom that can become alive in us to birth what it is that we're here to give, that is the authentic truth of who we are. And when we live in confusion and in the darkness of our relationship with self-doubt, it can hold us back. There was this woman a few years ago who did a poll of people who were in hospice care. And she went and asked a bunch of people who were on the brink of passing out of this world and asked them what was their number one regret in life. And the number one regret was having not given or created in their life in the ways that they felt called. And I think that what Chantal and the Emerging Women movement is doing is giving conversation to what does it take so that we can go out of our life being like, yeah, I gave it and I gave it all. And I think that the biggest thing for us to look at is the nature of self-doubt. So I want to tell you about an experience that I had about 6 months ago that has changed my perception of the nature of self-doubt. I gave birth 6 months ago to a beautiful little boy named Connor Forrest on November 1st. And that experience was so beyond anything I could have ever possibly imagined. It was more challenging and the most transformative experience. I think that I will for years be thinking about this experience and the journey that it was. But there was one part of this experience that I want to talk with you about. And that was at about 20 hours in. I was in labor for 26 hours. I worked for that. And I did it at home. I did it with no drugs. And I live in Sedona now. I live in Sedona, Arizona, a place called the Rocky Nest Ranch. And at about 20 hours in, it was starting to get dark. I actually labored for a long time outside in my backyard under a juniper tree. And I got fully dilated outside. And it was getting cold and kind of dark, and so my midwife was like, it's time to go inside. And I was fully dilated. So I went into the dark downstairs guest bedroom of our house, which is interesting to me because I put a lot of energy making the upstairs master bedroom so fabulous for this birth, right? It was like this pool, this whirlpool tub and these amazing signs of images to inspire me and crystals and all this music. And I ended up in the darkest, quietest place as close to the earth as I could be in my home with my soon-to-be husband, who's been my partner for several years now, David, my midwife, Shell, and my midwife's primary assistant, Danielle. So we're in this downstairs bedroom, and I am fully dilated. The baby is no doubt going to somehow make it out of my body, and I am filled with this all-consuming feeling that there was no way that I could do this. I just think, I can't do it. I cannot do this. Oh my God, how am I gonna do this? It was so intense. The doubt and the intense sensations that I was feeling in my body, that was the only thing that was going on. And I kept thinking, I must be doing this wrong, because I sat on every orgasmic birth telesummit that there was. I was gonna have a sensual birth, I was gonna have an ecstatic birth, and I was like, there is no orgasm happening here. This is not in any way, shape, or form ecstatic. Like, this is intense, and I'm pretty sure I cannot do this. And I remember I went into the bathroom, I was there in the bathroom, and I was laboring in the bathroom, and all of a sudden I called out into the bed. I was like, I need somebody here with me. I don't think I can do this. And my midwife comes into the bathroom, and she looks at me, and she's like, you are in a mountain cabin, alone, by yourself, birthing this baby. Now figure it out. She walked out, and she was like, and you know, it was the perfect medicine for me in that moment. And I think about what you just said. It was the moment where I realized that only I can birth this baby. I have great support, but it is only coming through me. And I walk back outside, and I start to confess that I had been having thoughts about epidurals, and they're like, I'm surprised you haven't been talking about it until now. And I said to Shell, I was like, I just don't think I can do this as I'm in between surges or contractions or however you call them. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. She looks at me, and the baby is like coming. The baby's coming. The baby's really coming. And she says, you are doing this. And it was like, whoa, that was the moment that I realized that doubt is an essential part of the creative process. It doesn't matter if it's a baby, it doesn't matter if it's a book or a song or whatever that dream is that lives inside of you. Doubt is a part of the creative process. After she told me that, I went and I was in the shower. It felt like a gymnasium in my home, all the places I was. But I was in the shower, it was hot water, and it felt good, and I'm standing there, and I'm laboring in the shower, and I'm beginning to think about all of the things that I have come this close to putting out into the world. That right at the moment of putting it out, I've abandoned it. And I'm thinking about this as I'm in labor. I'm thinking about the manuscript of poetry that I wrote in 2006, 2007, that is in completed form, sitting on my desktop in my computer, never made into a book. I'm thinking about the songs that I created that have been recorded on little tapes that are sitting in a storage box in my garage that have never seen the light of day. I'm thinking about all of these things, and I'm realizing that this might be one of the major creative things that I've undertaken in my life that I was not going to get out of. And I realized in that moment, actually, it was such a profound realization that I was like, you know what? It's like the creation is happening, and the doubt is riding right alongside with it. And normally, I've spent so much money in my life investing in ways to get rid of self-doubt so I can be my fullest, creative, fabulous self. When in reality, what there is to see is that if the thing to see is this, is that if there is doubt, it is an amazing indicator that you are smack in the midst of the creative process. Doubt doesn't actually live outside of the creative process. It's part of it. And sometimes, yes, we can be in total flow, and sometimes it can feel amazing, full of inspiration, and all of these things. It can be that. And sometimes it feels like, oh my God, I cannot do it. And they are both valid. And they both are indicators that you're in the creative process. It is so easy to think, I think there's a lot of speak out here in the world of, I don't know, spiritual speak around creativity. And I actually put it a little bit akin to, you know, that if you're in your feminine power, it's usually should just feel, you know, receptive and fabulous and sensual and all this stuff. And you know, sometimes it's really intense. And that doesn't mean that you're not in your feminine power. And sometimes it's really intense with self-doubt, and that doesn't mean that you're not an amazing creator. Self-doubt can actually be this incredible signal to us that what's underneath it, what's wanting to come through, is something that is so authentic to who you are. Because usually when we're wanting to birth something into the world, and it's this deep longing feeling inside of us, this authentic expression of how we want to give, chances are is that when we get right to that moment, when we want to put it out, we're going to have a whirlwind of self-doubt come up. Because this is why I think that there's a lot of people who think that self-doubt is this like evil thing over here. You know, it's keeping us, it's hindering us, it's blocking us. But the truth is that self-doubt is this incredible invitation. Because when you are in the creative process, in the creative act of whatever that is in your life, and you are about to give and create in some way into this world, and self-doubt arises, there's this incredible opportunity to come and nestle in so deep into what you are committed to in your heart. Self-doubt is actually this incredible friend that strengthens our ability to love, and to love with fierce strength in our lives and give how we must give. Every time that it comes up in your life, know that it's this amazing indicator that you are right on birthing, giving into the world what is your authentic truth in creation. And that the opportunity is for you to dive in deeper into yourself, what you are committed to the love. You know, that is our power as women, is the strength of our loving. We need leaders who will get up on a stage and talk about how they want to love the world and love it with fierceness. We need leaders who will get up on the stage and will speak, and if it moves them so much what they care about, they cry, that too is professional. That too is what leadership looks and feels like. So I did birth my child the whole way through, until the very end. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And I'll be honest, there are ways in which I give in my life that I feel very comfortable giving. I come from a very intellectual background, and my work is in supporting women in crafting their messages and public speaking. And I actually do feel more comfortable in the, even though very sourced in spirit, intellectual realm. But for me, my edge is absolutely giving of the ways that are of more artistic calling in myself. And I'm continually looking now to the women in my life to remind me when I'm in the moments where I'm about to get on that edge, sing that song, do that dance, do that thing, and I am filled with that feeling of I can't do this. It sometimes takes that amazing woman in your life to turn to you and remind you, you are doing this. So I'm here to remind you that if you've got that going on, you are doing this. and to invite you to be that woman for the women in your life. Remind them. You be their midwife of their creativity and their brilliance. And you remind them when it is so dark and you think you can't do it, girlfriend, that means that you are, and you are doing this. And come back to how you must love. Because man, when we get deep into how we must love this world, how we must give, nothing can stand in the way of that. And that to me is what feminine power, feminine leadership looks like. We don't need to support our girls or our women in doing away with self-doubt, but rather to strengthen that love, that fierceness, that sense of deep value of what we have to give. Because standing in that, self-doubt will just melt in the face of that loving. And that's how we birth our deepest truth into this world. Thank you.